All right, welcome to this edition of the Native News Update. I'm your host for today's program, Paul DeMain. Many of the stories and information read here can be found at our website at indiancountrynews.com. Here are the stories for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. Police in Alberta, Canada, Albertville, Alberta, Canada, say an autopsy determined foul play led to the death of a man whose body was found in a house fire. Albertaville Assistant Police Chief Doug Pollard said 64-year-old Robert Westmoreland was murdered. Pollard said a 911 call about a blaze was received about 4:30 a.m. on March 24th. Pollard declined to say how Westmoreland died. Officers have been looking for Westmoreland's blue 2003 Chevy pickup, which has Native American displayed in the back window. The tag number is 50J379D. If you happen to see it, give them a call. A dispute between the chief of the Muskogee Creek Nation and his opponents in some chartered communities within the tribe now involves investigations into alleged spending problems and possible impeachment. Opponents of Principal Chief A.D. Ellis filed an impeachment petition last week with the tribe's election commission. The petition comes not long after Ellis issued executive orders last month that removed the control of gaming funds from 6 chartered Indian communities with gaming operations. The communities previously had received a 50% cut of local casino profits. Meanwhile, a letter obtained by the Tulsa World indicates that the National Indian Gaming Commission has been looking into the possible misuse of gaming funds since 2007 by some of the tribe's chartered communities, and that one of the commission's concern was the use of those casino funds by those communities. A tribe trying to persuade the state legislature to let it to reopen its casino has run into a roadblock. Its rule barring women from voting in tribal council elections. Tigua, Texas leaders say women have never voted, and any call to change that would insult the 1,500-member tribe. But Representative Valinda Bolton says voting is a basic human right, though she also recognizes the tribe's interest in economic development. After Bolton raised the issue, a meeting was hastily arranged between Tigua women and female legislators to discuss the issue further. In 2001, then Texas Attorney General John Cornyn had successfully sued, alleging that the casino violated anti-gambling laws. The tribe says the casino would provide 800 jobs and is lobbying for a change in those laws. The Shoshonee-Bannock tribe of Idaho are joining with 2 conservative conservation groups to oppose an air quality permit issued by the state for a coal gasification plant proposed in eastern part of the state. The Department of Environmental Quality signed off on a permit last month for Southeast Idaho Energy, the New York-based developer that wants to build the $1 billion plant. Tribal officials say are concerned about public health and air pollution because the Fort Hall Reservation would be downwind from the plant. The tribes are teaming up with the Idaho Conservation League and the Sahara Club to oppose the permit, greenhouse gas emissions, and other issues, and have filed an appeal with the DEQ. It's a river again. After nearly 8 decades as more or less a creek, a branch of the Hood Canal tributary all but wiped out by the construction of the Cushman hydroelectric project in the 1920s, has water flowing through it once more. Even more help is on the way soon as a result of a historic settlement agreement reached early this year by the Skokomish tribe, Tacoma Power, which owns the hydroelectric project, and numerous state and federal agencies. The agreement gives the tribe a $12.6 million cash payment, 7.25% of the value of electricity produced by the number 2 powerhouse, and hundreds of acres of land, including Camp Cushman and Saltwater Park. It won't be final until the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission approves a new 40-year lease for the project, a move that's expected now that the parties have agreed to the terms. The original license expired in 1974, and the city-owned utility has been operating under temporary agreements since. The Spirit Lake tribe of Fort Totten, North Dakota has scheduled an April vote on the University of North Dakota's Fighting Sioux nickname and logo. Susie Fox, an assistant to the tribal secretary, says the nickname issue will be on the tribal primary election ballot April 21st. She says the exact ballot language is still being decided. A legal settlement between UND and the NCAA requires the university to win approval from the Spirit Lake and Standing Rock Sioux tribes to retain the nickname without penalties. The NCAA considers the nickname hostile and abusive. Longtime Salish Katune College President Joe McDonald of Montana has announced his plans to retire. McDonald, 75, on March 25th announced he would retire at the end of the year 2010. At the end of the academic year, the Missoulian reported on its website. He has been president of the college for 29 of its 31 years. He was the driving force behind the college's growth from a satellite campus of the Flathead Valley Community College, from using borrowed classrooms in a rented storefront in Ronan, Montana, to a 140-acre campus in Pablo, where more than 1,100 students are now pursuing bachelor's degrees. The physical education building is named the Joe McDonald Health and Activities Center. And that is the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. We want to thank our underwriters for helping us with this broadcast and for you with joining with us today. Miigwech.